Hi, this is Peter,
Hi, this is Sandra,
and we are medievalist.net.
and Peter is nursing a cold
Yeah,
and reviewing a jousting show called Full Metal Jousting.
yeah. Like it's just starting in Canada. We know for our American viewers, you've been seeing already a lot of the shows, a lot of the episodes, but we just got to see the premiere episode tonight.
So yeah, we're very excited. There's a lot of supremely craptacular reality TV out there, and I'm happy to say that this is not one of those shows. This is a great show,
Yeah,
and I'll get into this more later on. But for the most part, I really enjoyed it. For reality TV, I thought it was great.
and as before we were doing this, I was talking with Shane Adams, one of the kind of the host of the show, and he's saying this is like a sport, and this is a real competition, and when you see it, you get it that it is. This is action. This is an extreme sport where people are going to get hurt, and it's going to be kind of a great competition. So.
I remember we met Shane a couple years ago when we went to a medieval fair in Canada, north of Toronto, and he was really nice. And he did some jousting in horrible conditions. It was pouring and the very inclement weather. And he was nice enough to show us around, show us the horses, explain, show us the armor. Super nice guy, and it's nice to see him in this kind of a show where he gets to showcase his ability. I don't know where to start really, other than it's the premise maybe.
I can go through the premise. And basically, this is competitive jousting. So this is not like what you kind of see at a Renaissance fair or at medieval times, where it's kind of an act. This is kind of a sport where the idea is you're going to use the lances and you have to hit a certain piece of armor on your opponent's shoulder area. And if you knock them off, you get certain points. If you break your lance, you get points. And it's a kind of a point system.
And if you unhorse them, you get 10 points, which is the most you get is from the unhorsing.
And so the premise is like they've been doing professional jousting has been going on for at least about 15 years. And they've had these kind of competitions, and it's starting to get popular. So in this show, they're bringing in all these kind of new guys, these kind of amateurs, and they are having them kind of compete to see who can become a jouster, and who can win $100,000.
They're amateur insofar as they haven't jousted before, but from what I've observed in the show, all of them have some horse riding ability. I don't think you could be permitted to be on a show like this if you're afraid of horses or don't know how to ride a horse at all. I don't think they would even let you on the show.
Like a lot of the competitors, have some sort of horseback riding as part of it. Like a guy's a polo player. There's one guy that's like a Marine veteran. But others guys like in rodeo and things like that.
He should show horsemanship. The guy, Mike, the Marine, who was one of the final jousters today, he actually has some horsemanship. There was a couple theatrical guys, probably they didn't say where they're from, but I'm guessing from Ren fairs in medieval times. They had the vets. They had a guy who show jumps. And they had a couple of these rodeo guys who wrestle steers and what is it called when they ride
rodeo.
They ride the back of
bareback riding, horseback,
that kind of thing, and they get bucked off. And
so it's
obviously
a
have
bunch of
no
wonderful
idea what I'm talking about when it comes to the rodeo thing, but that's okay.
You're not a rodeo fan, are you?
Not so much, no.
Okay.
But
and she calls herself Canadian, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But the idea they brought these about 20 guys and they put them into two teams. And basically, there's a competition where the loser of their match that they have will get kind of eliminated. Although he didn't quite get eliminated on this, he's still in reserve. And so the first kind of showing was the initial training, which involved taking a hit, and you can see. I think this episode is a lot, and I think probably this as I see the series, you're going to see a lot of people getting knocked down, and getting hurt. So they. but it's you get this kind of
It's full
this
contact.
practice where like even like they're riding and the guy puts a baseball bat to the guy as he's riding by, and hopefully he doesn't get knocked off.
And what was interesting that they didn't, I don't think they mentioned in the show, but I saw on the Twitter feed from the History Channel was that they put lead pellets in the end of those baseball bats.
Oh yeah, just
So it
for
made it even worse.
just for fun, yeah.
Just, yeah, for the hell of it. So that was pretty brutal. What I like is the fact that he said this is the only sport where there's no defense.
Yeah, I've heard
It's
that.
just an offense. You're gonna get hit, and there's just no dodging, avoiding, deking,
Well, I think
diving.
I think the
You're
defense.
just that's it.
I think the defense is hit the other guy first. So like
Well,
you know,
okay, yeah,
and
yeah,
like I like there was even a part where their two lances hit each other.
yeah. They did tip to tip.
Which is kind of interesting, and so they had like this kind of competition, and I think that's what we're going to see as the show kind of goes. Like every week there'll be a kind of a one-on-one competition with the winner going on, loser going home.
And I want to address this because I know people, they'll have their detractors and saying, well, it's not medieval enough. Look, this show is a modern show. It's modern TV. It's medievally themed. They're trying, obviously, if you think about this logically, there's a lot of insurance and things they probably have to go through to be able to bring something medieval-ish to TV without getting sued or killing somebody. So I think, they had to implement modern things for safety reasons, right? And and just logistics of the legality of doing all this kind of this type of show. And in spite of the fact that the armor's not completely medieval looking and whatever, you get the gist of the show. You're basically watching two guys jousting, knocking each other off a horse, and it's not theatrical. There are injuries, even in the first episode.
Yeah,
who is it? The Australian.
The trainer got her because he's basically he's letting the guys hit him, so which was pretty funny. But so he's kind of like the guinea pig as a trainer. Wow, it's a lot to put through.
I just wanted to address that.
I would say like you take a look at like this is kind of what we medieval inspired stuff. It is similar like these are people that. They said like I remember watching A Knight's Tale and seeing Heath Ledger doing this kind of stuff. And
I thought that was so funny when you said that. I started laughing.
And so like, but these are people that like again, this is not a true historical battle that has happened, but of course we would never have like a true historical battle because people actually killed each other in the Middle Ages, like,
right? So it's got to be taken down a notch.
Yeah, it has to be taken down. And it is a modern touch to it, and I think they've done a fairly good job of kind of achieving that.
Yeah, in spite of the modernisms, I like it.
Yeah, I did it too. I think it's a good thing. I think Shane is a really good host because he kind of shows his passion. For what he's been doing and to get these guys to go. I remember he's just telling you gotta get up and do it. Fight, keep fighting and keep going and keep jousting. And like and he's to one of the contestants. So I really, I thought it really kind of showed a really good side of him. I think the contestants, so far we've just seen a little bit about them. So far they look interesting, and I think it'll be kind of a neat show to keep going and watching. So
yeah, compared to a lot of other horrifically terrible reality TV, which I can't name because I don't want to get sued, but you know what I'm talking about. I don't even have to go there. This is like something I'm excited to tune into weekly because it has that element of reality TV because there's definite personalities. Josh is the cocky, arrogant guy. You have the Marine, who's like the decent, hardworking guy. And there's the whole reality element of the personalities and the egos there. But it's not lame and cheesy, and it's not just TV for the sake of turning it on and watching what kind of house they live in and how much money they have, or, just nonsense. It's actual contact sport that has a bit of that reality-esque thing thrown in, which makes it fun and interesting to watch. So if you're into jousting and all that type of thing.
Yeah,
It's good. It's modern,
yeah.
but it's medieval inspired, and
If,
I really liked
if
it.
you
I
want to be
did.
that modern day knight, this is probably like what you can live through vicariously. So, and being able to knock people off, look the part, and we'll see who wins this $100,000. So.
Yeah, and I got the only thing I had to say, and I got confused is at the end, when Josh won, I thought that Mike was going to get eliminated, and then they shook
Yeah.
his hand and said, you can stay on and train. And I kind of understood with the show that, if you lose your final joust, then you go home. So
Yeah, that
what
seemed
did
to
that threw you
well,
off?
it did throw me off because it seemed a bit of a cop out. But like I can see like where they want to keep the guys. Like it's really unfair for the first guy or the first few guys get that they've that have come here and then to be eliminated. And basically these are amateurs. Like this is like the first time they've been doing it. So like there's still a chance that he could come back. But that being said, there might be a good chance that someone will get hurt in practice and stuff like that, and they'll need this guy to come back.
Yeah, and I'm not complaining because I actually really like Mike as like a reality show character. So I was kind of glad, even though it was a bit like Peter said, a little bit of a cop out. I really enjoyed the fact that they kept him in for next week, so we can see just a little more of him flesh out. And man, the guy is 40. Like I was like, holy smokes, when he said, "Oh, I'm 40, I'm retired." I didn't think, because he's all stocky and built, and he looks like you wouldn't want to mess with him in a dark
Yeah, no,
alley.
no, he's
So I thought he was
yeah,
younger, but yeah, for a 40-year-old ex-Marine, he held his own. I
yeah.
thought he did really well, considering Josh, the other guy who was acting kind of like Jamie Lannister, was very cocky. He was. He so was like, haha, look at me. I'm invincible. He's a theatrical jouster, so I thought in my head when I was watching this, I was like, oh man, this poor Marine, he's screwed. You got this theatrical jouster who's not really jousted, but gone through the motions, so he probably has his form down and, all this. So, but the ex-Marine held his own. I was so impressed. Well done.
Like I'm gonna look forward to seeing over the next few weeks, like how they develop techniques, like what kind of strategies are there to use. Because this is very beginning, and I'll be interested to see what it takes to become this this ultimate jouster, this to win this competition. How is there a certain style? Because it kind of alluded to it with the trainers saying that like one has one particular style, one has another. I'll be interested to see how that develops.
Yeah, so it was
Okay.
good. But thanks for joining and tuning in with us and enjoying Full Metal Jousting.
Yeah,
And we'll talk to you guys next week.
I'll be better. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.